Hi everyone, I'm JD from Willowbound Journals, and today I have a journal with me video working in my yearly journal, which is also my intentional life journal. And I'm just showing you these two feathers to start off with. These are beautiful peacock feathers that I picked up from a side street market when I went to Little Crystal Creek and Big Crystal Creek, and aren't they just beautiful? I love the gorgeous colours, the blues and aquas and teals in particular, and how they shimmer and shine. I did intend to use them in a journal page spread one day, but for now they just sit in my fairy lights. I kind of tucked them in between my fairy lights and my wall. So they're above my bed and just decoration for my room. But yeah, they're a lovely souvenir from that trip that we took. And I do have some video footage of that trip that has gone up on my channel a little while ago now, along with another video of a sunset twilight cruise. And yeah, it took me a while to print out the photos and document it, and it took me even longer to now do the voiceover for those two trips. But yeah, I was very fortunate enough that some people invited me to go with them on these two trips. And yeah, usually I like staying at home. Often when people invite me out to, dinner or parties or things, events, I'm like, oh no, that's okay. I'm happy just to stay at home. And even with these trips, I was like, do I say yes? Do I say no? But I'm so glad I, went out of my comfort zone and did these two things that I'd never done before. And it was definitely worth it. So I did print out a whole bunch of photos because I really wanted to document these two wonderful days. I used my Canon selfie to print these, and the first page spread that I'm documenting is the Sunset Twilight Cruise. And so in that video where I share some footage of that trip, I have some footage also of the whales that we saw, which was such a highlight. There was a mother and her baby, and they were close enough that you could see their fins and their blowhole, spraying water out from their blowhole. And it was just really amazing, very magical and peaceful. And so I definitely wanted to print out some photos from that day. We also, before we went on that cruise, it was a 2-hour cruise that went from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. So before that, we had gone to Korean barbecue, and I'd never done that either. So everything was very new to me. And so basically there's this like barbecue in the middle of the table, and you cook your own meat, and it was really fun. They bring out all your side dishes and sauces like rice and lettuce and all that stuff to eat the meat with. But yeah, you cook the meat yourself, and it was very delicious. I would do that again for sure. And so we had gone down to Airlie for all of this. That's where the cruise left from. And Airlie is about an hour south from where I live in North Queensland, in Australia. And yeah, it was just lovely. So after we had the Korean barbecue for lunch, we walked up the street to go get gelati, and on the way we stopped at a shop called Gander, and they had some really lovely pretty dresses that had blue flowers that I just fell in love with, all out of my budget range. But out the front of the shop on the way out, they had these sale bins, and so we were rummaging through that, and I found this really lovely sort of, I don't know, shawl, blouse, vest, top thing with a really light fabric with blue flowers, and it was on special from $45 down to $19 on the tag. And then when I took it up to the counter, there was an even greater discount, so I got it for about $15, and I was so excited. So that was my souvenir from that trip. And that was the weekend actually that I discovered my style, which is sort of fairy core, princess core. So I'm not into like the peasant boho style, but I do love the soft, floaty, magical, whimsical style, with tulle skirts and pretty flowers and embroidery and sparkles and that kind of thing. So that was fun. And then here, this second page spread, I'm documenting Little Crystal Creek and Big Crystal Creek. On the left-hand page, that's Little Crystal Creek, and then on the right-hand page, that one is Big Crystal Creek. And so at Little Crystal Creek, there was this beautiful stone arch. There was this gorgeous lake where the water was crystal green, so you could see the pebbles on the bottom, and it was deep enough that you could jump into it, and I did that, and it was thrilling. It was absolutely freezing. My feet literally hurt with how cold it was, but it was so thrilling. And again, I wouldn't normally do that. It usually has to be stifling hot before I go in water, before I swim. But it was all new to me, all of these things that we were doing, and I was just like, let's just go for it and let's just do it. And I was so glad I did. And it was just so beautiful with the water trickling into that lake, and the waterfalls, and yeah, so pretty. And then on the right hand side, this is Big Crystal Creek, and you can see another sort of beautiful green lake. And there were these waterfalls going into that lake, and they were called these sliding rocks. And I went down those sliding rocks 3 times, and that was really fun as well. Excuse my voice, I'm still recovering, so getting better each day. But yeah, it sounds worse than it is. But yeah, my voice is just a little bit I don't know, low and husky at the moment. Anyway, so these 2 locations, they were just stunning. They reminded me of like fairy nooks, and I would definitely go there again. On the way from Little Crystal Creek to Big Crystal Creek, there was this gorgeous side market on the side of the street, and it was just so beautiful, like this random spot of beauty. And that's where I got the 2 feathers from. So they were selling things like vegetables and fruit and jars of honey and dried pineapple rings. Oh, they were so yum. Oh my goodness. And also these peacock feathers and other types of feathers as well. And yeah, I've got those 2 feathers just to be my souvenir from that day. And definitely thinking I will use those in a journal page or for one of my pages for the book that I'm working on. I'm just threading through this ribbon that came from the packaging from that top that I got, and putting that along the top of this photo where you can see me wearing it. And it just so happened that there were these cool little holes in this paper, so that was perfect to thread that through. And on the right hand side of the journal page, you can see this kind of triangle piece of paper that's folded up, and that is actually the sort of grease-proof paper, I'm not sure what you call it, from the Korean barbecue place that you put down on top of the barbecue. And so I just took a spare one home that I could use, again, either in my journal, or I was specifically thinking of using it for a page in my book, because I'm collecting all different types of papers and textures. I want as many as I can get for my book pages. My vision is each page will be like a look inside my journal, where each page is different, each layout is different, and that's based on all the different textures and types of papers that you use. So yeah, I've still got that, and not sure how I will use it, but that was a fun thing to remind me of the Korean barbecue as well. And so yeah, I will be doing my journaling off camera. It took me a little while to arrange all of the photos. It always takes me a bit of time to fit them all on the page and just know where I want them to be, but I left enough space to write about those 2 day trips. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and feel free to check out the footage of the cruise and of Little Crystal Creek and Big Crystal Creek, and there's also some footage of that market. And yeah, really, really fun. I'm definitely very glad I went on both those trips. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.
A big thank you to my beautiful patrons who supported me in August. Thank you so much for allowing me to create full-time and share videos daily. If you would like to become a patron in September, the link is down below in the description box, and that's where you get access to extra videos, sneak peeks of all my creations and first access to them. You get the journal making series. I do a journal making series each month over there, and printables for the Ruby tier and higher, and mail sent to you for the higher tiers. There's also access to the Intentional Life course and the Marco Polo group if you're interested in that tier. And yeah, check out my journaling courses down below as well. They are open anytime throughout the year.